Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Trace Elements Radio live today, and we have a guest. Well, two guests. We are going to have three guests. Maybe lots of people are coming. Don't even worry about it. We're joined today by Chief Charles Twodog. Say go, Twodog. How you doing?
Well, the belly's gonna go, Tracy. Nice to be here again, but I wished it was under better circumstances. But it's an honor to be back on the show with you.
I'm so glad you're here with me, and of course, Mashu Whitefeather.
OCO, Tracy.
OCO. So we've gotten the band back together for this.
Hey, about time.
It's about time. We're getting some gas. We kind of have moccasins on the ground on the... I don't know how else to say it, guys, because I'm looking at this as the final Indian War. That it's not coming. It started because North Dakota, this protectorate from the tribes, as we talk about it today, and I'm going to let the guys take this for the most part, we have to realize this is Indian land. All of this land, North America, South America, will always be Indian land. So when people talk about illegal aliens, they're not from South America. So we have to remember who this land belongs to. And I'm really hoping that we will have time before the call-ins to talk about the Lakota, to talk about the treaties, especially the one being broken right now, and the Fort Laramie Treaty, and why the Lakota are such a big deal. If you want to start, Mashu, I give you the feather, and please go right ahead.
Oh, okay. First of all, as indigenous people, all tribes refer to this continent as Turtle Island. That means Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and down into Central America. This is all Turtle Island. None of us are illegal immigrants. That's first and foremost. With the current elections going on, one of your candidates, Trump, keeps referring to illegal aliens. Those people are not illegal aliens. They are indigenous as well. And we never had borders on this continent until European invasion. With the coming of European invasion, treaties were made with our indigenous peoples. They were never treaties of conquest. They were treaties of benefit. Treaties of benefit means I will let you do this if you will allow us to do this. Treaties of conquest are I have conquered you and therefore you shall do this. All of the treaties were treaties of benefit between the U.S. government and the sovereign people, the sovereign indigenous people of this land. None of the treaties have been honored or upheld by the United States government. Every one of them has been broken, and they have been broken by the government, not our people. What's happening today is a continuation of the broken treaties. All indigenous land on this continent is sacred. We have sacred sites that our ceremonies have been done on for over 130,000 years. European invasion only started less than 600 years. And that is when the genocide began. And that genocide continues today. The main reason most people don't know about it, especially in the country, is because the history has never been told truthfully or accurately. The United States government, which, along with all the governments in the world, are controlled by 6 corporations. Our senators and our congressmen are all being paid, and they are the ones who control the news media. That's why you never see anything in mass media about what's going on in Indian country. Since all of this started out around, in Standing Rock around Cannonball, North Dakota, I have only seen two things on news. One was by MSNBC, which gave a wonderful and accurate report of the history of indigenous people in this country and what's going on. And it was also on Facebook, and believe me, I'm one of these people, because I can't be out there and posting everything that comes in. We have to be careful during this time because, especially of what happened this last weekend during the Labor Day weekend, the pipeline company brought in a security force from Ohio with attack dogs. Reports since that incident, and I'm sure they're coming from the oil company, they're trying to make us, the indigenous people, look like we are the troublemakers. We are the one inciting all of this, and all we are doing out there, and when I say we, I'm referring to indigenous people. It's a peaceful protest. The only weapons we have are our drums, our songs, our prayers, and our sacred feathers. There is nothing else out there. My last report, which was 2 days ago, is that we have over 4,000 indigenous people representing over 100 tribes. And that is the largest gathering of our people in unity fighting for our land in over 150 years. All indigenous peoples are coming together, fighting for the sacred land, for our water, and we even have indigenous peoples coming from other countries. I know Hawaii is not another country yet, but it's in the process of seceding from the United States. And I think there are groups coming from New Zealand and also from other countries. We are supposed to have Dan Shirt, who is Lakota, calling in from Standing Rock this morning to give us an accurate account of what's going on, and I hope he's able to get signal out there, because I did talk to him the day before yesterday, and he was someplace where he could get signal, but it wasn't really all that good. We also may have another friend of mine, Menominee from Wisconsin, who's been very active in getting supplies out to Standing Rock and the Red Warrior camps. His name is Art Chigoni, so hopefully these two guys will be able to call in during the radio program today.
Ski Mashu. Let me say it like this also. It was stated. This is how it was stated. This land is yours, the white man said, as long as the grass grows and the waters flow. Now, if you look at this, also, the Lakota had a prophecy called the Black Snake Prophecy. Now, that could be considered completely this pipeline that will change the Lakota way of life completely. So that has been spoken of. I have also listened to the leader of Standing Rock that has been on different shows, TV shows and other things, internet, I think. But he has actually stated that, and Mashu, you go with me on this if you will, that this could be completely considered an act of war by the United States government.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Mashu, if you would relay on that, please.
Any treaty that's violated is really an act of war. And our people don't want to go to war if we don't have to. We would like to think we could sit down and talk, we could work things out in a peaceful manner. I work a lot with the United Nations, and I've had a Native friend of mine call me and says, Can we get the United Nations out there on the side of our indigenous people? There are UN observers out there. There is also a contingent of lawyers that are watching what's going on out there. The UN is aware of what's going on out there. The UN, the head of the UN is aware of what's going on. President Obama is aware of what's going on out there. I found out that since our organization, Two Feathers International Consultancy, is accredited by the UN, I could be out there as a UN observer. Not on the front lines because we're observing, but there are reports going back to the UN and to the White House, supposedly every day, of what's going on out there. I don't think people realize what's going on out there in North Dakota right now, however it turns out, is going to set a precedent on how indigenous people are treated globally in their respective communities with the problems that they're having. And each native community are experiencing problems preserving the land, preserving the water. And what most people don't realize, that our indigenous people are always on the front line when it comes to protecting our mother, the earth. It's very sacred to us. We are keepers of the earth. We are caretakers of the earth, our mother. But what they don't realize is what we do in the process of that is not just for indigenous people, it's for all of humanity. Without water, we don't exist. And
Mashu, if you allow me just for a second also, because I wanted to relay this to our listeners, okay? They calling everybody out there protesters, okay? Number one, I wanted to let you understand that they're not what you really call protesters, they're protectors.
Uh-huh.
Thank you,
Okay.
Twodog. You know, we are seeing on planet Earth right now a desecration worldwide. You know, I have been reporting what's happening in Canada, how almost every reservation is polluted and can't drink their water now. How the pipelines have destroyed pretty much all of Saskatchewan. If you don't know the size of Saskatchewan, I recommend you look that up. These are great waters here. Very important. And we are watching uncontacted tribes being shot from airplanes. So when we wonder who is doing this, human beings are doing this to each other. We can't blame governments, really, because we're working for them. We can't blame kings and queens because we are holding the guns. We are building the ships. We are building these pipelines. There's a beautiful piece from Chief Seattle. That's where that name comes from, by the way. He said, "What befalls the earth befalls all the sons of the earth. This we know. The earth does not belong to man. Earth belongs to the earth. All things are connected, like blood that unites us all. Man does not weave this web of life. He merely is a strand of it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself. And people are making choices, bad ones, really bad ones, that are killing any possibility of us saving where we are right now, anywhere on the planet. You know, if there are no roots, there will be no fruit. These pipelines are killing the ancient roots. The pipelines are spilling, and it's not when, it's if, or if, it's when. They spill constantly every day. I was away for 2 months, and there was a fire or an explosion or a pipeline spill on every continent on this planet every day.
There was just one over the weekend.
Yep, 2. 2 over the weekend.
I just knew.
And the nuclear
for one. So that,
spills that are going everywhere. There's 4 emergencies in the United States, 1 in Canada right now. We are fighting for our lives at this point. I can't see it. I can't look at it another way. And I'm so glad you guys are with me, because we've told people the history of this continent and the planet and how things have changed. Well, within the last 40 years, there's a devastation that's unprecedented on this earth. And it's getting exponentially worse day by day by day. I am not seeing enlightenment. I am seeing humans being exponentially stupid to each other.
And for most people, it's because they don't see it. It's not affecting their little world, in the, let's say in the city, the urban especially, because it's not directly affecting them, and they can't see it. They're too busy caught up in the race of surviving in your cities, a lot of them. But we also have supporters out there that are non-indigenous, so there is a wakening up of some, but it's not enough. And everything that's happening right now has been prophesized, as you alluded to right in the beginning there, because this is part of prophecy. I don't think what the United States realizes, and we're talking about our government here in the United States, they're big on preaching to other countries about human rights, but yet we're one of the worst countries in actually enforcing human rights in this country. They don't realize that the world is watching. The rest of the world knows our history. And so they're watching with open eyes of what's going on, again, continually with indigenous people, and the constant, I can't think of the word, negation of sovereign rights. Now, the land that this is on is sovereign treated land. Sovereign treaty land is treated like any other country, like say France or England or Germany. And so that's why these treaties were made. No one is allowed on treated land. This includes corporations, government at any level, police force, military, whatever, without tribal consent. In order, a lot of the reservations and sovereign treated land have police forces. No other police force from outside the res can come in unless they've been invited. No corporation can come in unless it's invited. No government agency can come in unless they're invited. And that's by tribal council or chief, or let's say tribal government. This is always violated. This is my big argument. Why are those corporations, those pipeline companies, there in the first place? They were not invited. That in itself is a violation of federal law pertaining to reservations.
Right.
It's a good point. Sorry, Mashu. I've been posting for the last month and a half, because no, this isn't a new thing for our listeners, that there were boots on the ground from the pipelines from the beginning. Right from day one, they were there, a lot of them posing as workers on the pipeline, but they had military boots. And I have pictures of that. There's been such a, and thanks for bringing this up, media blackout on anything Native American, especially this Dakota oil pipeline or blockade, if you will, because I'm hearing it called that, but that's not what it is. As the Lakota Sioux continue their peaceful blockade of this 3.8 billion Dakota Access Pipeline, which they will get no money for, by the way, the story's absence from any national media. You can taste it. Considering the corporate media's chronic quest for controversial stories on government versus public standoffs, you think this situation would be what at least garner some of the typical media frenzy invoked during, say, the right-wing militia occupation of a federal building, for example, or a tense standoff between Black Lives Matter movement and police? It's not. And lately, the media has faced criticism for selective coverage of certain events.
Remember that Bundy group that
That's
was up?
where I'm going. So
all the news, and they were on Indian land.
they were on Indian land. They were shown digging up Indian artifacts. People watched that and said nothing, like they were brave. But this confrontation in North Dakota, in particular, is strikingly similar to all confrontations of natives and the media outlet. When there's a handful of militia wearing guns, constant coverage, even by alternative media, who has been ridiculously silent or badly reporting what's going on there. Till I lost my mind a couple weeks, I didn't hear anyone else talking about this. And I couldn't. I was sick, but I still am. And really, it's easy to create controversy out of a right-wing, white, nationalistic militia occupying some obscure Federal Reserve preserve building. And it sounds petty, I know, and not newsworthy, because it is petty, and it is not newsworthy. I witnessed liberals so incensed by the Oregon occupiers that they were calling for the FBI to literally gun them down. Meanwhile, the alt-right movement hailed them as heroes. A second American Revolution. It was great. A diverse controversy, I guess.
I would love to be able to go out there and record a live radio show interviewing people out there to get the scoop of what's really going on. That would be...
I would love to. But program. Are they getting any radio service? Have they been... I heard their water was cut off, but has their wireless connection... I've heard rumors that's been cut off.
They haven't had a wireless connection out there. What could be done is that just go out and record. And then, it wouldn't be live, but to record people and have them on here.
Yes, that would be great. I realize everyone's having a hard time messaging us. I got an email, but I think cell phone service is being completely cut off.
Oh, yeah, you have to leave the camp in order to get any kind of signal.
Wow.
Or service.
Now
Mashu, I was going to tell you... Just a minute.
Do this with you just for a second, Mashu. And I want the listeners to understand also, is that there is a sheriff that did have a report, and he stated that there were gunshots and all kinds of things going on out there from the people. There are no weapons there. There are no weapons there. So basically, this sheriff is lying also, right?
That sheriff also said that there were pipe bombs, and then he later recanted and said he thought the sacred pipes, were pipe
bombs. It's the same guy.
Ignorant.
Yeah, and he was also accusing the natives of having lasers and flying over drones and planes with lasers. Seriously, lasers.
I know of 2 instances where our native people did have drones, but they were just to film of what was going on. They had no weapons whatsoever. It was just filming. They want things to be accurately told. There is a strong movement out there amongst the protectors to have truth told, not this fabricated news that's hitting the TVs. Well, whatever it's hitting the TVs, it's not much.
Yeah.
But there was a confrontation on Saturday where the pipeline came in and started bulldozing a strip that took out very sacred sites and also burial grounds.
Yes. Thank you.
And the people crossed them. They had no weapons at all. The people the pipeline had hired a security group from Ohio, someplace in Ohio, that had attack dogs. Now, there was a picture circulating on Facebook, and I'm guilty of putting that picture up as well, of a little girl that was bitten in the face.
Me too.
I found out later from the Red Warrior camp, after posting it, that this picture was not of that little girl. And so I posted after that to correct that. There was a little girl that was hospitalized from being attacked by a dog. Those are women and children out there. There are so many children out there, they have set up a school in the camps for the children so they're not missing out. These are whole communities coming together to protect that sacred land. And again, the key word here is protector, not protester. Now, this is typical of government. Senator McCain attached very sacred Apache land that is still being used over thousands of years to today for sacred Apache ceremonies. He attached it to an arms bill that passed through Congress and ended up being sold to the Chinese. Since then, I'm pretty sure President Obama has vetoed that sale. But this is what happens today. This is how things are to our native people still yet today. And the government doesn't want people to know this. This is why you don't hear about it in the news. And this has to stop, And it shows like what we're doing here, Tracey, on our online podcast, where we have people call in. This is what's getting the word out, and this is why it's so necessary. This is something that we've been doing for over 600 years, is fighting unsurmountable odds. The genocide of our people have been going on since European invasion, but we're still here. We are still here, making the stand for what's right.
I agree with you, Mashu. Now let me throw this out to my non-indigenous brothers and sisters here on Turtle Island that need to understand this. Also, what Mashu, myself, and Tracey are trying to say is that this is Indian land every step you're on, okay? Mexico, United States, and Canada, it's Turtle Island. This is Indian land. Only thing we ask is to respect the land. That's it. That's the main thing. But here's the thing. When they speak that, okay, this is a tribal issue. Yes, it is, because it started on Indian reservation, okay? This is the other part. Okay? Hold on a minute. This is the other part, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's the thing that the leader of Standing Rock also stated. Okay? So I want to throw this out there, too. This is started on Indian reservation, yes, but here's the point. What they are doing there is that this pipeline is going to go all the way down into, I think, Illinois. Basic. So that's off reservation. Yes, it is, but it's still on Indian land. But what we're asking and what we're trying to say to the non-indigenous people of the, from there down, is that this is about our children, our elders, our life givers, and our people. As far as the water, you can't drink oil. Number two, is, ladies and gentlemen, for my non-indigenous brothers and sisters, to my non-indigenous relatives, this is going to affect you too. So it's going to affect everything. Water is life, so this affects everyone. And am I with you, Mashu? Are you with me on that?
Yes, I am. And we even have non-indigenous people out there helping protect the land and try to keep things from happening. But there was supposed to be no digging or anything out there while this waiting for the to make a decision. Since I went to court the first time out there, they have filed papers. I think it was at the end of August on that sacred site. I mean, the sacred sites out there are not only for the Lakota but for other bands of tribes. They come into that area, and there was a very good explanation by one of the tribal. I think he's a tribal archaeologist. I'm not for sure, but a very good video of him explaining what that land is out there. And there was no respect for that. The thing that's whatever happens there with this pipeline, I think will have a strong effect on the other pipelines in the country. If we can get this one stopped, I think it's going to affect it. There's another one that's supposed to be that they're trying to do over on the East Coast. I think that will probably help shut that down. We're having a lot of scientists and researchers backing the tribe now, telling that this isn't a joke. This is what's happening. They've also, over this last weekend, I finally heard a report on something that we've been talking about on radio for a long time, is that how the extraction of all the oil, especially, and then gas, are causing the earth plates to shift, causing sinkholes. There was a big report that came out on that this weekend. So we're getting the scientists to back us up finally, where there's no question. And there's other forms of energy that are non-invasive that we can use. It's clean energy. It's just getting these big corporations to stop, using dirty resources and destroying the earth. Because, Tracy, I know you've said it. I know we've said it on our radio show. I know you've said it, Twodogs, on your show.
Yeah.
When you dig oil, when you have pipelines, you're going to have leakage. When you frack, you're going to have chemicals put into the water. This is putting poisonous toxins into the water that's killing the fish. It's killing the vegetation in the water. It's killing the vegetation around the water deep into the soil that's going to be affecting us for generations. Killing the wildlife. We as people depend on those plants even today for food. Some of us use it for medicine. The animals we use to eat. Even if you're a farmer and you raise livestock, that's affecting your herds because it's systemic. It's affecting everything. If this doesn't stop, we are going to have no water for anyone. It's all contaminated. You see higher instances of cancers and other diseases because of this. And yet, and it's been proven that these pipes leak. It's not will they leak, it's when are they going to leak. And yet,
it's going to happen.
And yet people shut it out of their minds because it's so easy to go to a gas station and fill up, and go wherever you want to go. But it's killing us. It's destroying the earth. And people need to wake up to that. They have to actually visualize this happening. And fortunately, more people, aside from indigenous people, have awakened, but we need more. We need to stand up and elect congressmen, governors, senators who are of this same mindset. Otherwise, our planet is doomed, and we're doomed along with it. I still have hope. I am an optimistic person that we can save the earth, and I know the earth will regenerate itself, but we've got to stop what we're doing, or it's not going to happen. And this isn't just for indigenous people, this is for all mankind. I look at the situation now as that our indigenous people are on the front lines protecting all mankind.
Yes.
You know.
Hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I'm stating. You know what Mashu, Tracey, and myself are also talking about. It's not me. Okay, let's look at it like this. It's not me, but it's 7 generations from me. My daughter, my granddaughter, my great-granddaughter, and all so far. And that's what we're telling to our non-indigenous people, is that we're not just fighting for our kids, but we're fighting for your kids too. This is going to happen to your children. It's going to happen to our children. If we can't stand together on that, then we've seen man's inhumanity to man forever now. But this is an Indian problem, and it is a human problem, because it's man's inhumanity to man that I have seen forever since I've been on this planet, on this mother, on this walk.
It is humanity's
we have to stop.
problem. It is humanity's problem. It just happens to be on sovereign treated land right now. But I have to say that a big thank you to the farmers of North Dakota, because they've been trying to protect this land right along with our indigenous brothers from the beginning. Because the farmers also realize how they're being affected. I like to give credit to where it's due. We need everyone's support, to get this stopped.
Yes.
There's just no way to express the urgency and the importance of mine being stopped. And our people refer to it as the black snake.
Yes, the Lakota called it a black snake prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
That could ruin them forever.
Right.
And really, that's the snake. The pipeline is the black snake. If you see where it's going, it's like a snake. So that prophecy could be coming true.
Going back to what you were saying before, Twodog, I know I grew up hearing that, and I'm sure you did too, as most indigenous people, that we are the caretakers of Mother Earth, and we try to leave it better than what we found it when we came onto this earth for the next 7 generations. That's what some say. Other tribes say is that it's not our land. It's our children's land. It's just another way of saying it, and we're keeping it for them. And
yes.
Each generation does that. We keep it nice for our children because we want it to be better. And it's saying the same thing, but just in different ways. But I think I would like to think more and more people are starting to see that.
What I would like to do also, and this is to people all over the United States right now. If you think this is absolutely absurd, get a hold of your state representative. Tell them what you think about this. Because I've actually seen Mitch McConnell myself, which is senator of the great state of Kentucky, and he's backing this thing all the way, so I'm going to be talking with him. But anyway, if you believe this is wrong, and because this is truthfully an act of war with what they're doing on a sovereign nation, anyway, Call your state representatives. Let them know how you feel about this. That's another way of fighting it. Mashu, what do you think?
I think that people who are watching this happen should, excuse me, get a hold of their government representatives. Tell them that they want things stopped like this, and I think people, the mass population of the country, should barrage the news media, all stations, TV and radio, to go out and print the truth of what's happening. Get us coverage so people will know what's going on. One of the worst things is for people not to be aware of what's going on around them. And people depend on the media. We need to be on the media. We need to be on mass media. We can do the best we can. I mean, I know on our programs here, we reach all around the world.
We do.
Yes, we do. But the people of our own country are not getting it through the mass media. Other countries are telling what's going on.
Yes. Canada, United States?
No.
We don't even know what's going on in South America, and there's riots on the streets right now.
Mm-hmm. Thank God for my internet, because
yes.
with a lot of people that I see at the UN, and I see what's going on in these other countries, and I do post, because I think that part of my job is to inform what's going on in our indigenous world, to put it out there, and I try to reach as many people as I can. I can't be out there because of situations here at home right now, but if I could, I would. And fortunately, I have family that have been taking, supplies out there and been arranging for supplies to go out there. So it's not like, but right now, my main power source is this computer.
Yeah, us too. Twodog and I have been talking about that too, and sending money and our support. And even when I was not doing live shows, I made sure that on my station, on our internet channel, that there was always something up about what was going on this planet. Because we've talked about this. We have driven this planet into the sixth mass extinction. This is a big deal. We all should be on the streets, or if not that, talking to your representatives, calling the media. This is, are we going to live or are we going to die moment? And this black snake prophecy that Twodog and I have gone into in depth before is a yes or no. Do we continue or do we die?
Exactly. There's no in between.
There's nothing. Do we want to live? Is this our planet? I listen to a lot of stuff lately about aliens. Do you know what an alien is? An alien is someone who is not connected to the earth they're on. And too many people feel like that. If you feel like that, you've already given up. I think we should...
European.
Yeah, that's what all natives called them. The aliens were the Europeans.
Yeah.
Or the younger brothers. Younger brothers who, when they don't get their way, they destroy. People who've had a younger brother, they know what they do.
Exactly. Tracy, Doreen and I, and Doreen is my co-host for people who don't know on our radio show.
And we love her.
Yes, we do. She is Maori from New Zealand, and we were in England last year. We have a brother over there, you all know him, Mark, who's Cherokee and English. And while we were over there, we just sat there and realized how small England is, but how much control that little island country had of the world and still does today. I mean,
it's incredible.
To me, it was...
It's crazy pants.
It's what?
Crazy pants.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, what the heck, you know? Here we are. I mean, England would fit in one of our states and still have room left over here in this country.
And
How
even
could
they
one
are
little
controlled by a family of Germans. Come on, this is the alien invasion. It's already
yeah,
happened.
exactly. You know, so what's wrong with us? You know, it's
Yeah.
are people not being told the truth? You know, you read any history book, it's all lies about our indigenous people. I
Yes.
got into so much trouble in school, but I changed a lot of people thinking in there when it came to indigenous history. You know, because we were told the truth. You know, and when I heard anything, you know, that was contradictory to that, I was the first one to speak up because I don't know how to keep my mouth shut when it comes to protecting our people. That's why people in the United States are very
The way I look at it, Mashu, you can't. If you care about your people, you can't be quiet. There's
exactly
no such thing.
exactly. You know, and we all may do it in a different way, but you know, but we're there. We just have to make sure it's done in a positive way. I've been lecturing for years on our people and culture. When I go into lecture, I don't say, "Well, you guys are bad," and you know, if it wasn't for you, you know, this wouldn't be happening. And that, you know, and it's like you can't blame people today for something that happened 200 or 300 years ago. What you can do is point it out and say it's still happening and it should be stopped.
Yes.
But you,
A
but
lot of what I tell them, Mashu,
but you do it in a good way so that they don't walk away with this big guilt trip because you know really a lot of it wasn't their fault. You know, let's
a lot of what I,
as human beings and
a lot of what I
stop
tell
it.
them,
Let's
cousin.
have respect for each other. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What I tell them, cousin. What I tell them, cousin, is this: what happened between their relations and ours years ago. Okay, it happened. But here's the deal: you didn't do it. I didn't do it. But we can talk now. But this is exactly what happened, and you cannot forget your past because your past can happen again if we're not careful.
Exactly. And I've been accused of trying to live in the past. But what they don't understand is that you have to know your past in order to deal with the situation today. And
Yes.
when you handle this situation today, you can plan for a better future. But see, we're supposed to be the most intelligent species on the planet. And because we don't tell the truth, and because we hide things, we
Yes.
keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Okay, there are
Right.
no people that are perfect. Well,
No.
aside from mine. No.
Other than me.
So we all make mistakes. Let's learn from them. Don't hide them. Don't cover them. Let's learn from them so that they don't happen again.
You know, people, we have to realize that we're all to blame. People are taking the jobs that are killing the earth.
Yeah.
People are carrying the guns that are killing other people. You know, what we've learned, it seems that what we've learned is what's good about us is the bad thing about us. That we have learned to manipulate this planet
Oh,
and
God.
each other. It's true, you know, but we have learned no tolerance for each other. None. I'm not seeing it. We're seeing the horrific stuff happening in Canada and United States, and where most places that have black people have a warning, don't go to the States. We need to look at that in the face. We have not learned. We have not learned. And these are regular people. They are not monsters. They are not aliens. They are not special Super Saiyan ninjas. Regular people are deciding that they are more important than everyone else. And this is the trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Well,
ticks
it's
me
like-
off.
Tracy, it's also like what happened with me Friday, okay? Now, I got to hold up the San Francisco 49er quarterback is doing this because he sees people being shot in the street like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they did play the Pledge of Allegiance at my daughter's high school football game, and as soon as that came up, I did the same thing. I went to one knee. Okay, because nobody needs to die in this country. If if everybody is here, then I don't see no unity here. I don't see no United States nowhere. But I agree with him. All life is sacred, and nobody deserves this kind of treatment.
Well, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I fought. I'm a member of our Warrior Society. I am a member of an all indigenous American Legion post. I will not stand the United States flag. I will not sing the national anthem. I never have, because my nation, which was here first, we have our own flag songs. We have our own staff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. To me, I am pledged. If I were to do that, I'm pledging allegiance to a foreign government in my land.
That's right.
And it's nothing against the country, because our indigenous people are the first to enlist.
Always.
That's the only way we, as the true people of this country, can protect our sacred land. And we don't have wars amongst each other anymore. So the only way that we can do it is by enlisting into the United States government military. So we've learned to modify in order to maintain. And we've done that a lot. We don't see any other doing that.
Let me also explain myself, Mashu, Tracey, real quick, and to the listeners, okay? Let me explain myself. I didn't do it because I was disrespectful to military, okay? I didn't do that.
Oh, no. And I understand.
I honor the warrior. I hate the war. But here's the deal.
Yes.
What they didn't realize, and the reason I got these looks, is because they bent down and done a prayer and sent smoke up to the Creator for what is happening with my Lakota brothers and sisters and children and elders, and what's happening in the United States as well. So if they don't like me praying, then so be it. I'm going to keep doing it.
So you did that at the school, correct?
Yes.
Traditionally, everything that we did as indigenous people, we did as a prayer. There was a prayer for everything. You were first when you got up is to pray. You go to water, at least with our people. People don't realize that. Life itself is a prayer. Are we perfect? No. But a lot of our people in today's society have been so influenced by non-indigenous society.
Yes.
Just because of the way things have worked out. They're so busy with all the noise going on around them that we're not.
Okay, we're going to break, everybody, and we will be back in.
Original than they are, Twodog out of it, put the whole iron pan them. Me can't live it on the feast, got the whole of them. In favor them and them a cause problem. Chop it!
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Trace Elements Radio, live on Revolution Radio, Studio A, and of course, Trace Elements Radio. We're joined today by Chief Charles Twodog and Mashu Whitefeather. It's been incredible first hour. I've really enjoyed it, and it's so nice having you both here. When we talk about what's going on in these are Turtle Island, my father, who you guys have heard, the music that I play, it's mostly from him because I'm rather partial to him. My dad's 76 years old. He still gets stopped by the police because they say he looks like a black guy that they've been following, but the black guy they've been following is 20 years old. My son, who is in his 20s, gets stopped because he's tall and dark-skinned and drives a nice car. My son and my father are afraid for me because I look too native to walk around in Canada, where native women disappear and are found in garbage cans a week later.
Yes.
These things are happening.
Oh, yeah.
They're happening now. The pictures of the people attacked on this weekend look like 1960. To me, not enough has changed, guys.
Oh, no. No, it still goes on. A lot of our indigenous women and children are being kidnapped and murdered,
Yep.
sold into slave and sex trade.
Yep.
There's 3 holdover places here in the United States that the government knows of, the police know about it, and nothing's being done. And you know why that is? Because it's an international business that makes big money.
Yes.
Yes.
And one of them, from what I understand, Mashu, is pretty close to me.
Yes, it is. It's right there in Kentucky.
So I'm trying to find out, and they're being very hush-hush, of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's very well known. And the way they're out of the country is U.S. ships.
Yep, from Canada to the United States.
Mashu, Tracy, I want to relay this also, because Tracy, you know about it. Of course, you do too, Mashu, right now. Matter of fact, you put it on Facebook yourself, put the picture on there. I've done had a military helicopter land out here myself.
Yes.
I don't know if they think I'm going to the protest or I'm going to be causing something here. But if that's what they want to think, then come talk to me. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And I'm not afraid. If I have to, I'll stake myself to the ground. I have no problem. But anyway, the thing about it is,
I think it's really important to stress, and I don't think we can stress it enough. The only violence that's happening out in North Dakota is on the part of the pipeline, its security, and the surrounding police enforcement. The protectors themselves know weapons. The only weapons that they have is their conviction to preserve the land and the water, to stop this pipeline, their drums, their prayer, and their feathers.
now if you allow me, Tracy and Mashu, for just a second, because I want people to understand something. I want people to know what's going on. They have a militia up there with dogs that are attacking kids and women. They have arrested a pregnant woman. They have arrested a woman that didn't get on the other side of the boundary line, so to speak, because she was up flying a flag of her own nation toward the protectors. Now, they pulled her down. They said they had a female cop there, but I didn't see one. And all the cops are searching her. Now, there's been some violent takedowns that I've seen cops do to the women there.
Yeah, it's been recorded.
So everything's being misreported, number one, especially this lying sheriff that they got going. It's for, how do I put it, guys? What should I say? It's for the Almighty God, which has become a green piece of paper with George W. Bush's mother on it. That's what I think.
The thing is, people like to think, okay, I'm going to go off here. We've got two presidential candidates going right now. Not either one of them are fit to be in office. One belongs behind bars in a federal prison. She's already proven that she's endangered the security of our country. She's been involved in so many scams and money scandals. The other one has no common sense whatsoever. He's one of the most bigoted, racist people that could even be in office, and I'm just amazed that he's gotten this far. We have two parties to vote for. Okay. Even if they were the most perfect people in the world to be running for office, the government is controlled by corporations, and the only thing that they care about is how much money they can make. They don't care about the people at all. The only thing they care about is what the people can do for them to get them more money. And as soon as the people wake up and realize that, then maybe things in this country will change. And I hope it's not too late. I hope they don't wake up too late to have this happen. Do I want to see open revolution in the streets and stuff? Heavens no. There is a good process of law, if the law is adhered to, that this can be done. But it's not going to happen unless people wake up and realize what's going on around them.
Well, let's let it this way too, guys, for just a second on this election thing. You got the worst racial bigot I have ever heard as far as Donald Trump. And what does he call Clinton? Hey, bigot. What, isn't that calling the kettle black, actually, in many ways on that? Now, I have been, and I'm going to report this right now, I have been told through the grapevine that if Trump does get elected, we do have a civil war in America. It will happen.
And to show how ignorant he is, he's a presidential candidate. He's not in the office. He goes to Mexico and talks with the president of Mexico and goes on. I mean, he runs his mouth in this country, then he kind of softens up there, and then comes back to the United States, in Arizona, I think it was, and says, oh yeah, Mexicans are going to pay for the wall, they're going to pay for half of it and all this. The Mexican president says, no way, we're not paying for nothing. A few months back, I saw a post that the president of Mexico said, yes, we'll pay for half the wall. We'll even pay for all of it if it includes the original boundaries of Mexico, which means they get Texas back.
Well, yeah, because here's the deal with what one of the comedians actually did state. Ladies and gentlemen, if it has sand in it, it's Mexican. Now, San Antonio, San Diego, So basically, what we're also stating, what I'm also stating, just say this was between America and Canada, and not America and Indian people, but America and Canada in itself. Say America says, I'm going to put a pipeline right through your whole country. And if Canada did not want that, do you think America would do it anyway? Because that's exactly what they're doing
on Indian land,
on sacred land, on Indian land right now. So that's an act of war.
Yeah.
Guys, can I step in? I can't let Trump go.
Okay,
for
go
a minute.
ahead.
No, I have to. I need to turn at him too, because just when you thought his bigotry couldn't get worse, he actually came out and told the protesters, "You don't look like Indians."
Exactly. What are we supposed to look like? Hello?
We don't look Indian enough. Nice. See, whenever he opens his mouth, just this garbage spills forth.
But do you know what prompted him to do that?
What?
He wanted to open up a casino, and he couldn't do it because only Native people, federally recognized indigenous people, can supersede state law and open up casinos.
Well, he's losing so much money personally that
exactly.
He's looking for anything right now.
Yeah, and so he was not allowed to build a casino, and that's what prompted that. And that started a few years ago. But
now you tell me
the presidency.
93, I think.
He is a presidential candidate, not the president. For him to go to another country and say he's going to do this and he's going to do that, that was totally out of line and uncalled for, and again made the United States look like an idiot. I mean, that's it by itself.
Yeah, and United States and Canada do not need any help looking like idiots in other countries right now.
Thank you so
We're doing
much.
really good at that. We don't need help.
Thank you, Trace. Because that's true.
we're looking pretty bad. We don't just screw up our own countries with pipelines. We go to other countries and wreck their lands too.
Oh yeah, America's
Huge.
known for that.
Canada is actually the worst reputation on the planet now for our mining. Apparently we can't build anything that's not going to explode or leak and kill every native in the area and all their animals and their plants.
You're supposed to read the instruction book.
Yeah, we can't. Because we expect it in French and English. We don't get that. We don't know what to do.
You know,
see,
when I was up in Canada.
That's what Standing Rock is saying about this pipeline. Excuse me, Mashu. I apologize, and I'll back out in just a minute and let you have it. But that's what we're saying. That's what Standing Rock is saying. It's not if that pipeline breaks. It's when, because it's going to. It will happen, Mashu.
Oh yeah. But I was going to tell you, Tracy, when I was up in Canada last time, up at Six Nations and up by the White Lake Anishinaabe Res.
Yes.
I was fascinated driving through there because upon the highway goes through hills and mountains, and they've got rocks on each side of it. They had these rocks stacked up on top that are guardians of the land, traditional guardians of the land. I thought that was so awesome, man. And believe me, when I got back on the stateside, I was looking for them, and I was only in Canada for about a week or so, but I missed that. I thought that was just so awesome.
Our piled rocks?
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool. Those are cool. We can pile rocks really well. We just don't let us get near a pipe of any kind.
They have to have talent, okay?
Yeah. We need rocks. That's our thing. Rocks, we're good with.
Yeah. But,
well, let's do one other thing also, because it's been going on too there. And that's just hit my mind again. But they are also, to be honest with you, they're going to burial ground and doing bad things.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that was just this weekend.
Let the people know that, Mashu.
You know, there was an excellent post I saw this morning. It was a double picture, one on top and one on the bottom. On top was a picture of Arlington Cemetery. The bottom picture was of where they bulldozed out at Standing Rock Res. And the caption was, on the Arlington Cemetery, it said, "If this is sound," and then the bottom one said, "This is too." It's where our dead are buried. And with Indian way, the way I was brought up, and I can only speak for myself, we believe that if even a morsel of bone is disturbed of someone who has taken their journey, that spirit doesn't rest. And I can only talk about, that's how I was brought up, and I think most Native people may have the same, if not similar, beliefs.
Same. Mohawk, too.
Yeah.
One bone.
Yeah. And so why these companies just go, I mean, there's no regard for anything of our indigenous beliefs, and it's our land.
I'd like to ask you both something, now that you mention it. I was wondering, some of the things that have happened in the last couple days there, are they trying to provoke a response?
Yes.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just say that because it sounded like, Tracy just is negative.
They are trying to provoke a fight.
When they attacked a woman and a child, because these are women and children that are out there, the security company turned it around where these people attacked the dogs and said their dogs were injured. This is what they're trying to do. This is what the police force is trying to do. Accusing people who have sacred pipes, something that we hold most sacred and pray with, calling them pipe bombs. Tell me that's not an instigation. They're turning everything around. When in actuality, they shouldn't have been even legal permits to be on sovereign treated land in the first place. Because in my heart of hearts, I know no indigenous government gave them that permission to come on the land to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They should be there. Now somebody's getting some money under the table somewhere.
Huge money. Huge.
And I don't think it's our people. I think it's the government officials that allow those permits to be given, and it has to be a government official because that's the only place they can come from.
I want to say also it was good to hear that indigenous woman singing when in that big meeting, okay, as far as Americans' governmental thing, when the boat didn't come in, right? For them, or so to speak. And that singing made my heart go even higher. And, of course, she was told to leave and all that, but, hey, we got to fight this thing, or it's our children's future is what I'm saying. And to be honest, to my non-indigenous brothers and sisters and relations that are on Turtle Island, it's your children, too, we're fighting for, like I said before. Mashu?
Yes.
It's everybody's children right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely. Are you talking about the lady that was in? She went to the meeting and she was in a white buckskin dress and.
I do believe, yes.
Okay, she was at the UN with us.
But I saw this.
Joanne's.
I saw this vote they were trying to have, right? And evidently the vote didn't come back the way they wanted. So I heard this woman start singing, and it uplifted my heart very much.
Mm. Well, there was a guy also, a native guy, that did that in the Senate, and he was escorted out.
Yes, he was escorted out. I remember that too. But here's the thing, that I agree with you, Tracey, completely. They are trying incredibly to invoke the protectors there into another Wounded Knee. I do feel it.
That has been my fear the whole time, that this is going to turn into another 1973 Wounded Knee, and I'm just praying that no one of our peoples take any weapons out there, because that's all they need to get that started.
That's it. That's it. One weapon.
I really truthfully feel, Mashu, that they're trying to invoke also another 1890 Wounded Knee.
So listen, look at all the reports that have accused our people of doing things since Standing Rock Stand has started.
Yes.
You know, and they're all lies. It's all based on lies, because they want something to happen. They want to make our people look bad.
Yes.
That's the whole reason behind it. Now, we've talked about this on our respective radio shows before.
Yes, we have.
About how federally recognized natives do not recognize non-federally recognized natives, and there's a lot of us who are disenfranchised for one reason or another, that we cannot be enrolled. I'm one of them, and the reason I can't be enrolled is because the enrollment that my family's on is not recognized by the United States government and the Bureau of Indian Affairs, because the white man decides who is Indian and who is not. Okay? That doesn't make me any less indigenous.
Right.
Now, if our people would wake up and recognize all the indigenous people that are mixed blood and that are not federally recognized, do they realize what force our people would have in this country? But our people have bought into the white man's law of blood quantum, so much that it has turned family against family. You even have people that have been on the enrollments for years being disenrolled now.
Absolutely.
That
Really
is
good point.
so stupid. If we would have such a political force if our people would wake up and pull their heads out of their butts and say, what's wrong with us?
You know,
My biggest word today is decolonize.
yes, it really is. And,
Yeah.
you know, one of the horrific things that the government did, you know, I have a long list, is when they realized that recognizing some of the natives was going to actually be beneficial, everyone needs to look up $5 Cherokee. When we hear people say, yeah, I'm part Cherokee, realize that the United States government let some white people buy in too.
Oh, yeah.
And they weren't Cherokee at all.
Oh, no.
So we have so many things against us. Our own people are kind of looking at us sometimes, wondering who the heck we are, and that's why.
And a lot of white people married into our Cherokee people.
They did.
So to get the land.
They did. Specifically, that's happening with the Mohawk and the Mi'kmaq.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time. They marry in and they divorce, they get the land, and then they sell the land to corporations.
But legally they can't do that because Indian land is part of the tribe. You can stay on a particular lot of property and your generations to come forever. But with our Mohawkers like Cherokee, we're matrilineal.
Yes.
Everything goes through the women. So if a man married in and then divorced, it still stays with.
Until the Canadian new laws, the kill bills that we talked about, that changes it.
In Canada.
That changes it. Now they can. They can come in, marry in, and own that land and sell that land.
Okay, then, a word to all of our young, wealthy, prolific, indigenous people today.
Yes.
Buy as much land as you can possibly afford, pay for it as quickly as you can,
Yes.
and have it become part of the closest indigenous land reserve of indigenous people to you.
Has to be done.
The legal way that we can get our land base back legally, and no go against that in today's law. How's that for a piece of advice?
I like it. I like it so much.
Actually, I've been preaching that for years.
See, I didn't ever hear you say that before.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I do that.
That's awesome.
For years. You know, for us people, well, I'm not one of them, but for those of us people that can afford to buy property, buy up as much as you can. Like say, like when I was in Wisconsin, if I had stayed up in Wisconsin and I bought my 10 little acres, if I had lived long enough to get it paid for, I would have turned that over to the Ho-Chunk Nation. With the understanding that my family and my direct descendants have the right to be on that property for as long as that bloodline goes. And then after that, it would automatically become part of the tribe.
That's an excellent thought.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that a little bitty pencil, a pencil, is not an ink pen, but a regular lead pencil, okay, could be responsible for a complete genocide of a people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the pencil is really powerful right now.
Pencil genocide has been going through our people like crazy.
Also paper genocide.
Exactly. I mean, they have even, like one of our women to have a baby, and then they fix you without your knowledge to where you can't have them again.
Yes.
Oh, that still goes on reservation hospitals.
Everywhere.
And
So it's a non-stop.
It's even done with children. Like you'll go in let's say a broken arm or leg or something else medical, they'll say, well, we have to do a procedure on you. And while they're doing the surgery, they also sterilize the child. And then they don't know it until they actually reach adulthood, fall in love, decide to have a family, and then that's when they find out.
I went out last night and gave tobacco up. Okay, I went out last night and gave tobacco up for this show, and gave tobacco up for the people that are standing in Standing Rock right now and the protectors there. The way I'm saying this to everyone is what we started off with. If you think, Turtle Island is just America, don't think that. It's Mexico, America, and Canada. That's the Great Turtle Island. And no disrespect to my non-indigenous brothers and sisters here that are on Turtle Island, but every step you take, you're on Indian land. And it will always be Indian land. The only thing we want to do is just love her, take care of her.
The other thing that we as indigenous people, and I like to think I'm speaking for all indigenous people, is that we want our lands to be respected. We want to be respected. We want to be acknowledged for who we are. Just like anyone, no matter what your ethnic background is, in this country, we need to have a mutual respect. One does not dominate over another.
Right.
Being an indigenous person and the work that I do, I meet lots of indigenous people as well as other people around the world. And I find it fascinating to learn as much as I can about their language, their culture, their music, their food. And in doing that all my life, it's made me have a better appreciation for who I am and who my people are and where I come from. And when you can share and learn from each other, we all have something we can learn from each other.
Yes.
And that makes the world a much better place. By no means, like when I was growing up, I was around the Amish a lot. I absolutely love the Amish people. Do I want to be Amish? No. Do I want to change them? Heavens no. As a matter of fact, I wish our people were more like the Amish in many ways, where they're more traditional than a lot of people. But, it's a mutual respect. And I even had the Amish, when my brother-in-law died and when my wife died, the Amish came in their horses and buggies, and they were right with our native women cooking, because we cook for 4 days because there's meals at certain times and stuff. It's the first time Amish had ever taken part in a traditional, funeral. Those people are still talking about it. It's things like that, little things make a big impact on people, and it's all done in a good way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is what I'm talking about. We have to have that respect for each other. We don't mind that you're here. You're here now. We're going on 600 years. Let's work on that respect thing. Let's help each other out. Stop making guns. Let's do things to help the earth. Learn that money isn't everything. We survived for over 130,000 years just with bartering. Hello.
Yeah, it could still be done.
It's still done in Indian country.
I still do it.
Oh, yeah.
Trade, yeah.
Yeah, if I want something, I try to make something or trade something.
I wouldn't have Godzilla right now. I wouldn't have Godzilla right now if it wasn't for bartering. As far as
Your
my
chicken?
rooster is concerned.
Okay.
In my mind, I see you with a big gorilla.
Yeah, I was thinking like,
Yeah.
Godzilla. I'm
And
thinking
if you
the
have that
Japanese
big
one.
gorilla there, your chickens are in a world of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Tracy, I also would like to thank Harrison Kennedy for actually contacting me with, on Skype and making a contact with me. And thank you, Father, very much for doing that. It's going to be, I love him so much, and I will never forget the time I talked with him, and who knows where that will go. But the fact of the matter is what we're talking about right now. It's a, how do I put, it is a tribal issue, just like we're talking about.
Yes.
It's a tribal issue. But it is going to affect the non-indigenous people because it's going to go right through America. So it's going to be it's a human issue, but it's not just that. It's a environmental issue as well, because it's going to affect the fish peoples. It's going to affect the four-leggeds. It's going to affect everything here. It's going to affect the earth.
And however this ends, it's going to impact on how pipelines, fracking, and anything in the oil industry is handled around the world.
Yes,
I don't think people realize what an impact this one site alone is going to have on
everyone's watching this. And if they can get away with making it look like natives killed some people, then that's what they're going to do. So I think the most important thing we need to do is stand and watch this. Watch this.
I just wish people would bombard the news media, mass media in this country, and force them to put the truth out there.
I can guarantee you I could call CNN right now and be hung up on. I can guarantee it. God, that is one station that hasn't said a word about this. Nothing.
Oh, and you can't believe it's on Fox either. So, and if the truth did come on Fox, nobody'd believe it.
Well, yeah, if it's on Fox, people just go.
I want to also hold up Free Speech TV now, because they have been putting that over the air.
That's right. Yes, they have.
I don't know about that. What is Free Speech TV?
I'll send you a link.
Well, Free Speech TV is you donate to this television station, but what it is, Free Speech TV has people from all over the world, and that includes indigenous people. I've seen them forever, and they interview them. They allow us to tell our story. Free Speech TV has done an incredible thing for indigenous people.
Where is it out of?
I really have no godly idea. I'm looking at Free Speech TV as I'm talking, just watching the thing. But because they did have somebody speaking on there a couple of weeks ago, I think. But they're letting the story come out too, so I uphold them.
Oh, good. Well, I think it's safe to say that all of us here on this show today stand strong with Standing Rock.
Yes, I hope.
And doing what we can to support it in our own way, as I know thousands of other people are. And we thank you. I'm saying thank you on their behalf for supporting and helping get supplies out there and keep up, the fight of protecting our protection.
I would also like to thank Chief Baker of the, I think, Western Band Cherokee for sending a whole truckload of water out there. Thank you, ski to you.
Lots of reservations across the country are sending caravans of supplies out to those people.
A whole buffalo, and it's been really awesome. I've been putting on the page, and I'll make sure everyone has this at the end of the show, where you can donate, because I know we can't all get down there, but it's something that's worth us watching, because this could change everything.
Yeah.
Could be a good thing. Could be a good thing.
I'm going to just tell you a personal thing that I'm kind of tickled about.
Oh, please.
We are having our second annual Bunston Intertribal Powwow the 1st and 2nd of October here in Missouri, in Bunston, Missouri. We had our first one last year. This is the first day and the second day of our Cherokee New Year's. We celebrate for the first 2 weeks of October traditionally. And we're just calling it our second annual Bunston Intertribal Powwow. We've been doing all sorts of fundraisers to raise money for this. One of them of which was a bake sale where where I made 2 apple pies, 2 blueberry pies, and a huge tub of fry bread. And,
Where's mine?
well, you all got to come to the powwow to get some, and we have a Omaha lady that made fry bread last year and Indian tacos, and she makes the best fry bread. Well, what I wanted to tell you is that we had some fry bread left over, and a couple of my pies left over, and the restaurant in town came and bought all of my fry bread and my pies, along with some other baked goods, and took them to his restaurant. So I can honestly say that my fry bread has sold in restaurants.
Well, there you go.
So,
but guys, one other thing that I would like to add with this is our 20th annual powwow will be going on a week after Mashu. But the thing that I wanted to let people know is we're actually starting to think about setting in the High Council right now in my nation about maybe a march. And what we're going to do is take every flag we got here that is standing with us, and we're going to march, and we're going to talk about what's happening in Standing Rock and tell people what's happening.
March, where's your destination?
My destination is right now either towards Bowling Green, Kentucky, Hopkinsville, and probably Nashville. We're actually talking about a march right now, but I have to set with my High Council to exactly see how this thing will work.
You know what would really be awesome?
What?
Is if you gathered all those flags and enough people to support those flags and carry them all the way out to Standing Rock.
Yes. It would be fantastic. We now hold 42. We hold 42 flags right now. More coming. Basically, matter of fact, Mark DeVille, if you're listening, the flag is up from where you're at right now in honor of your wife, and it'll be here for the rest of the month. That's flying with mine right now.
I think they have 150 flags standing with them of different tribes right now.
Yes.
Flags?
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I heard on Friday. I haven't heard the update yet.
There are a lot of tribes out there. I noticed I posted they have some of the bird singers from down south in the southwest up there, because they did songs up there. They've had some Aztec from Mexico. It's people from Hawaii come and do traditional songs and prayers up there. I mean, this is big for indigenous people. This is a major event.
The owner of Revolution Radio is also in the same area in Kentucky, Twodog. So I'm going to make sure that you get his Skype and you guys can talk too, because he's looking for ways to stream live.
Okay.
And especially from at Cannonball, but any of the live streamers, if they are actually doing that. So far I haven't found anyone who can actually do it live. So I'm going to get you in touch with Hawk.
It's hard to stream live there because there's no signal right in the camp. You would have to, I would love to be able to go out and even film,
That's what we were talking about, and that's what Hawk's been talking about too, but I don't think they can, from what I heard anyway, from Sunday. And as we know that we were going to have guests today that are, moccasins on the ground, but I think it's a 10-mile radius now that you can't get any kind of signal.
Right. But Tracey, also, I wanted to relay to people that there is what they call Aboriginal person over in Australia. That's a good friend of mine and yours, Tracey, also. That the tribes in Australia are actually talking about sending every flag they have to me. So that's just incredibly awesome.
So, with our listeners, if you can think of, or if anyone can send us live recordings, if someone's managed to do that, even, just took a phone image and then can send it to us after, we will make sure that's played. We will get those things played.
Yes.
Anything you want to show us that's boots on the ground live, I will stop everything I'm doing and make sure it's played. And I know that Hawk from Evolution Radio completely supports us too, so he will put it on the YouTube channel as well. So
awesome. That sounds really, really good.
We're terrified of some of the things that are happening, and it looks like some of the digging has just stopped. Hawk's just telling me this. Let's hope, because they're purposely doing what will bother people the most. They know it will. And hurting women and children in front of men, the restraint these warriors showed, monumental.
Yes.
Because it was specifically to get men acting.
Up my head of this one young native guy when they dug the grave, over the grave, they bulldozed over the burial ground. He just sat there, and he had spoken on a video from there the day before, and he was just sitting there crying.
The cultural sites are directly in the path of this pipeline. Sacred sites already destroyed. Already destroyed. It turned violent after they destroyed this site. Then they let the dogs go, and I think specifically they were trying to provoke an attack then. This is not like Bundy. Bundy's were allowed, there's a couple of guys with guns. One native man loses control, this thing goes bad. Because they're showing it, nothing's happened. These are peaceful people who had their children and women and old people holding signs saying, "We are unarmed," so that the world knows it. We're so aware of what's happening in the United States and Canada and South America right now that we know what they're doing. And it's magnificent that they've kept the control that they have. It's magnificent.
They even had an elder lady in a truck that was over 100 years old, a Lakota woman, thanking all the people for coming out and fighting for her land, protecting her land. But just the fact that you're protecting, it's a type of fighting.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, provoking, they're trying it. Boots on the ground, right from day one, a month and a half ago. And I have pictures of them. Those are military boots. You can't hide them. So they were waiting for this to happen. What they weren't expecting, and how this has changed a lot of things already, is that natives who haven't talked in 50 years are coming and talking and supporting.
That really amplifies what you just said, is that the Lakota people and the Crow people have been bitter enemies ever since Custer, because the Crow were the scouts for Custer.
Yes.
They had a video posted probably 3 or 4 days ago of a large contingent of Crow leaders coming, walking on Sioux land in support of Standing Rock with their drums and their leaders. It was just awesome, and to me, that was history making, because...
Yeah, we're seeing something unprecedented in that way, and something beautiful that really needed to happen. The tribes coming together for this, it's a big deal.
I mean, my heart stopped when I saw that
Yeah.
because they've been bitter enemies ever since, you know,
Well, history's being made right now
Yeah.
for all these nations to come together right now.
And people who
Well,
have
this is
picked
history also.
sides to, fight one Indian nation for a bit of money when, we were still eating scraps from Massa's table. I'm sorry, I can't think of it any other way. Who are putting all of that hatred aside and standing together. It's a big deal. So if natives can do it, everybody else can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have to see what's happened on this continent.
I would like to do something while we're on air, Tracy, if you allow me.
1 second.
Okay.
What we're seeing here is what's happening and what's wrong in Canada, all of Turtle Island. You see, we have Black Americans and Canadians, Chinese American and Canadians, Japanese American and Canadians, but you never hear the term white American, white Canadian. We got to remember the deals that were made were that you would need to tribe up to stay here. Marry in always works. The French did that. The Scottish did that. We had no problem with that. If you feel that this land is yours, like really feel that, it's time to stand together as a people. Human people. Sorry, Twodog, go on.
Well, what I used to do, and I want to give this to the people that are standing, okay? They used to try to make me say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States since I was a baby. I just couldn't do it. So I come up with this right before they walked me to the door and threw me out. So I would like to give this to the people if this be okay. Okay, here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flags of the 500 Indian nations and to the heritage for which they stand, all nations under the Creator, with honor and respect for all. There you go.
Good one.
Nice. We're here now. It's not like we're going to send anybody back. We can't. We can't. There's too many everybody's, and they're from all over. But you got to remember, you have left that place, wherever that place was, and you're here now. The land owns you. You can't own it. It owns you. Your bones will be here. Your hair and your body parts are already part of this land. It knows where you are. This land knows you. It's time for us to put away our childish things and hating this and hating that. And the reason why they don't say white Canadians and white Americans is they want you not to be included, basically. They want everyone else to hate you. It doesn't have to be like that.
No.
Be human. Be from Turtle Island. Be part of the tribe. Time to tribe up. Let's save this.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have.
I agree with you, Trace.
I'm going to make a.
I agree with you, Trace.
I'm going to say tribe up.
Tracy says.
Take
your community wherever you're at. Take your community. Sit down with each other and say, tribe up with your own community.
Yeah.
Take care of each other.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
We have to. We have to now. The governments will do what governments do. They always will. Corporations will do what corporations do. It's all about the money. We don't have to be those a-holes. We don't have to fish to the last fish. We don't have to spoil the land till nothing can grow on it. We don't have to dig up the last tree so there are no roots and there will be no fruit. We don't have to do this.
That's right.
I know we got bills to pay and we got mouth to feed, but if we want grandchildren and great-grandchildren and 7 generations from now, we need to remember it will be our fault if they don't have these things.
And if it gets to the point where everything is gone and destroyed, our people will still survive, because when things were hard before and they were trying to put us on risk.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I gotta thank you. I have to thank you very much, Mashu and Twodog, for joining me today. Thank you very much for chiming in too, Hawk. I saw you in the background. I was waving. My hands are slow, so I can't move that quick. So anyway, thank you guys. I will get this up and posted, and love you.
On the hill,